Hello, welcome to the 14th episode of HorseSpirit Arts Gallery's Artistic Spirit Series. And tonight we're featuring artist Wendy Ng. Wendy has the unique capability to take a real egg and transform it into an incredible piece of art. But before you meet Wendy, I'd like to tell you how this live Facebook shows works. So I'd like to bring on the producer and creator of this show, Rob Hix. Rob, will you join me?
I will. Here we go. Hey, Robin, how are you?
Hey, I'm good.
So Bonnie is here.
You want to tell everybody how it works?
Sure. So
I'm sorry, what's that?
Are you not able to hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, okay. All right. So hopefully people are now starting to learn that this is a campfire, not a television show. So that's why I wear a nice camouflage baseball hat and a t-shirt. It's not a formal occasion. So this is all just an opportunity for all of us to kind of hang out, ask the artist questions. In this case, this week is Wendy. I'm super glad that Bill Knapp hopped into the chat because we've got a Easter egg somewhere in the video that showcases his work. So I think Wendy will know what I'm talking about, but we'll have to make Bill wait and see what we've got in store for him. Also, Bonnie Zuckerman is here. Hi, Bonnie. And there's a few other people. If you guys don't say anything in the chat, we can see that there are people watching, but we don't know that you're watching. So say hi, tell us where you're from. Definitely ask Wendy questions. You're going to really enjoy what we've got in store for you. But like I said, this is a campfire. This is not a TV show. So we need you guys to ask questions, make comments, and most importantly, have a good time. Mic drop.
Thanks, Rob. Thank you so much.
Have fun.
Okay, well, first let me tell you some things about Wendy that she probably wouldn't tell you herself. And Rob's dogs are in the background. So here we go. First of all, Wendy she's just wicked smart. She has her master's. Well, let me just read this to you. She has her BS in biology and chemistry. She has her MS and PhD in pharmacology, and she did her postdoctoral fellowship at the University of Rochester. So this girl is smart, 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 smart. Her art is in many collections around the area and even farther away. She's won lots of awards, but here's my personal favorite. She won first place in an oil painting contest in Hong Kong, of all the high schools in Hong Kong. That is amazing. Do you know how many high schools there are in Hong Kong? And so the point is she started art really early. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to Wendy Ng.
Well, hello. Hi, how are you?
Hey, Wendy. It's nice to have you on the show.
Thank you for having me. This is
Absolutely
quite an experience.
So Wendy, tell us a little bit more about your background and specifically your passion for creating art.
You know, I really didn't think of it as a passion so much as I just want to be doing it. And when I'm doing it, I'm happy. I find myself get into more and more of a meditative state, and I feel good when I'm done, especially if the piece is as I had expected.
And the egg didn't crack.
Yes. Well, like you mentioned, my background was in the sciences, and I thought of it as a vocation, and the arts is more an avocation. But as I get older, it sort of switched places, and I'm thinking more and more about art instead of doing my vocational work. So now that I'm retired, I'm now a full-blown artist, and it's quite a change. And I really like the process, and it brings me joy. And when it's done, I just love it, and it helps that people like it as much as I do. So that's a good thing.
That's wonderful, Wendy. That's really wonderful. So tell us, eggs, that's an unusual art form, especially since we already know you started off in oil painting. So how did you get to eggs?
That's a sort of a long story. But when I first got started, my first experience actually was as a parent helping in my kids' school, and they have somebody teaching them how to do Ukrainian eggs. And I was the teacher assistant fishing out the eggs from jars of dyes. And I never did it until I met up with a friend who has a basket of them at their house. And at that time, I said, well, I really don't have that much time to work on art stuff because I was homeschooling my kids. And she said, well, just come on over and try one. And I did one. I sort of copied the design and I finished it. And I looked at it and I said, I can do better than that. And I haven't stopped. And I still say that I can do better than that. So that's how I got started. And that was about 10, 12 years ago.
That's amazing. I will say the eggs that you bring me in the gallery, they just keep getting better.
Yes. I have to say that at the beginning, when I was busy with homeschooling and teaching, I really did it very, very part-time. And eggs was easy because I don't have to worry about storage. I can put it in an egg carton, set it aside, and if I mess up, I can just throw it right into the compost bin. And I have neighbors and friends who have lots and lots of eggs to share. And I got to a point when people would say, guess what? I have an unusual egg for you or a different color. Would you like that? So I started collecting them. And now that I'm teaching less and less and doing less formal stuff, I'm actually doing a lot more eggs, and practice makes perfect.
That's wonderful. Well, Wendy, I think we should show people now see the video of your process. Okay. So Rob's going to show the video, and if you could please talk everyone through it so they all know what they're looking at.
Okay. All right. We'll do that. Okay. So here you see me getting some eggs out of the refrigerator. It's just like any old dozen eggs that you get from the grocery store. But these are from my friends, and so I usually clean it up myself instead of having some machines to buff it up. So here I am using a hand drill, and I find the topmost or bottommost part of the egg and just slowly drill a hole through it. And it's just a single hole. And depending on the egg, sometimes it's very easy and sometimes it's very difficult. And here I am using currently the pump that I'm using. There's a hole in it. I can close up the hole and push in air. And when the air is in, if I keep pushing it, they have nowhere to go but to push the egg yolk and egg white out.
Wow.
So I would save that egg yolk or white for cooking. I have to tell you, I really miss having hand-fried eggs. They always scramble. But right now, what I'm doing is filling that same bottle up with water, and I rinse out the egg really well. I made the mistake one time that I sort of thought that I did a couple of times, and it's done. And what happened is animals get it. Now here what I did was to actually to drain better.
Wendy, can you talk a little bit louder?
Sure. So now I'm actually putting melted wax onto the egg, and I gotta put my head in the right place here. Melted wax onto that hole so that when I have egg dye fast working, it won't get inside the egg. And once that's done, I can sketch whatever I want on it. But I have to use very light hand on that sketching so that it won't stay on forever. It will come off. And on the side, you can see some waxing already done on the eggs. And it's using the same funnel with wax on it. And you can see the dark lines, those are wax. And on a white egg, you can see it much better. And here, I'm applying dots. And it helps to have very steady hands so that you can follow where you want to go.
Wow, you could have been a surgeon.
I did dissect some animals, but nothing human. But yes, steady hand is very helpful. But that's not a requirement. Then I have a jar of dye, and I put it into, and you can see using my $10 chopstick instead of a spoon to turn it. Some people actually turn it with a spoon and switch it out with a spoon. Get it to the point where I like it, and I just take it out and dry it with a paper towel, and then where I want to do the next round of waxing. So basically, you wax and you dunk it into dye, and you wax it again, and then dunk it into dye again, and you keep doing that until you're happy with it. So once I'm done with it, I put it in the oven on this fancy homemade gadget. This egg has wax on it, and I put it into the oven at 180 degrees. And then from there, I would take it out and wax it to and easily removed. And
wow. How long does it stay in the oven, Wendy?
For a blown egg, it doesn't take more than 4 or 5 minutes. Now
oh my gosh!
Yes.
Wait! That was Bill Knapp's sculpture.
That is, and so you can sort of see the process from a white egg to some waxing, a color of pink, and then you wax some more, and you dunk it into turquoise, and then you wax the turquoise to keep it turquoise, and then you can put it into, say, purple. And if you like it well enough, melt the wax like I did in the oven, and then you varnish it like I did right by Bill Knapp's sculpture, and let it dry, and that would be it. Then it's ready for a picture, a photograph, and bring it on to Robin.
Wow. That's awesome. That is just awesome.
Yes, so it goes through a process when it looks really ugly because the wax is colored and it's uneven thickness sometimes, so you really don't see the whole egg as it would be. So the bakery at the very end out of the oven is when I say, oh, I knew I shouldn't have thrown that out.
Wendy, I'm amazed because the price of your eggs are somewhere between the littlest one I have is $50, and then you have one for $150. And I have to tell you, that is an enormous amount of work for that.
Yeah. The pricing is a difficult thing to do. Some of the, you know what, my phone is ringing. If you don't mind the ringing, I can keep talking.
Keep talking.
Okay. So I spend anywhere from 5 hours to 20 hours on an egg.
Wow.
And I have to admit that it's, I'm not being paid hourly at a livable wage. So this is when I have to say thank you to my husband for being willing to support me through this process until I become famous or dead.
No, I can understand that. Hey, Rob wants to say hey to some people online.
Okay.
Yeah, we've had a bunch of comments that are coming in. So there's some older ones, but I told Lori Hansen that in the other video that we'll be showing in a little bit, there's the inspiration pieces, and I captured the video of her work there, and so she's like, "Oh, I'm so honored. I love Wendy's art. The eggs have such beautiful, detailed design." Bill Palmer, being a ham, says, "For some reason, I'm egg-cited to watch this week."
Oh my gosh.
Lori Hansen very much liked your wax tool, and let's see. Betsy Stark says, hi, I love this steady hand. I wonder if she was talking about me and my camera or you and your egg.
Both, Rob.
Uh, Carlos says, that's awesome. Great work. And so Bill actually asks a serious question. He says, do you use eggs of various sizes? And then Bill Knapp saw his little piece. He says, love it. Thanks. And he says, hey, Wendy, tell us about your third painting method.
Well, okay. So first of all, the eggs of the various sizes. I love having an egg in my hand. So a lot of times people would say, do you work with ostrich eggs? Did you see emu eggs that are nice and green? And yes, I do know that they exist, but they're too big for my hand. And so I much prefer the smaller ones. The smallest I have worked with are quail eggs, pigeon eggs, and bantam eggs. The largest one I have worked with is a big goose egg. So that's sort of the range that I have, and they all fit into my hands. So it can't be too big. And I like to work with whole eggs too. There's the heft of it that I love. But I stopped doing that because it takes some special handling on the part of people who buy it and take it home with them. So I didn't want to ruin things for them. So now, what was the other question?
So,
Well, she mentioned something.
Yeah, Bill, I actually read it wrong, and Bill corrected me. So Bill Knapp said, "Tell us about your 3D painting method." Not, I don't know what I said, but he wants to know about your three-dimensional painting method.
Okay. You see, the whole idea of how difficult the art form is, the difficulty comes into play when you think about having a drawing being a 2D piece, and then you try to wrap it around an egg. Then it becomes a 3D object. The trick to that is that you have to think in terms of a grid, sort of like a globe. You put the latitude and the longitude in, and then things naturally flow to become smaller. Okay. So when you think about pulling a square from the globe, the square doesn't look like a square if you squish it onto a flat piece of paper. But when you put it and you say, I want to draw a diagonal from corner to corner and then make that a triangle, it would be a skew triangle when you really look at it on flat paper. But if you look at it in an egg, your eyes and your brain basically think of it as, oh, it's a right angle triangle. So that is sort of the way it works.
That is really fascinating. And I've seen some of your paper designs. It's like you're an architect.
Yeah, well.
That's where all those brains come into play.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of times a mathematical mind helps if you want to do geometric stuff. But otherwise, you just have to be systematic about it. Even for the traditional Ukrainian design, if you look at it, they would say, okay, I draw the equator on the egg. And then if I want to have a band around it, I just have to make sure that that next line is equal distance from that equator to make it look even.
It looks like a fractal.
Ah, yes. Some of the things that I don't always have control over. I look at a design and I would say, I like this design. I wonder what it looks like on an egg. And sometimes when you put it on, the egg does it for you. And I would finish it off and I would look at it and say, like you, I would say, it looks like a fractal. That's not what I intended.
All right, Wendy, let's show people some pictures of your work.
Okay.
So I think, Rob, what you're going to cue up first is work that's already sold, much of which was in the gallery.
Yeah.
So tell us what we're looking at, Wendy.
This is a survivor egg. This one was an egg that actually came out of the Ellicott City flood. It was a summer garden, and the design, the flowers were actually inspired by an Islamic mosaic, and the leaves on it was something that I thought I need to balance out the flowers so I have curved lines. Um, and the brown band in the middle is sort of a homage to the Ukrainian origin of the eggs, the technique and the dyes. Um, the triangular shape with the netting on it, that is very typical of Pasenki. The Pasenki design for that signaled knowledge, as one a wisdom, and I just want to have a nod to that.
Well, that's a beautiful one. I have to say that that is a flood survivor, like you said, which is a huge deal because your eggs were downstairs and we took 5 feet of water downstairs and that egg survived.
Yes, I was just amazed. I was so sure that they would have been broken to pieces. And when Phil Knapp sent me the picture, he said, "Here are your eggs," and I thought, not a single one of them broke. That was amazing.
Yeah, that was amazing. You couldn't survive. They didn't all survive. Now, gosh, this is my favorite.
Oh yes, and I love this egg. And this is a very light green egg, really pretty color. And this is from my it is in my non-geometric phase and no grid work on that at all. I looked at that egg and I would say, what am I going to do with it? And this egg has a very even color, but it has folds on the top. So what I did was trace the ridges of those folds and then spread it out, and it looks like it was curving certain ways. And I started doing it from top down.
The colors are just beautiful.
Yeah, and I instead of dunking it in, I actually used Q-tips to dab the colors on, and use brushes, paint brushes.
It's beautiful. Let's see your.
So Lori wanted to point out that she loves it so much that she bought it.
I don't know, Lori. I think she may have bought it because right on the top of that egg was a heart shape. And that's when I was tracing the folds. It wasn't something that I intentionally put on. And Lori, I collect eggs and I have to have that one. So what can you say? You have to give it to her.
Now here's that same egg at a different angle.
Yes. And you will notice that it looks like the flowers are different colors. And that was intentional. I have a scarlet, a red, and a dark red dye on that. So they're actually different. So there is at least 3 different dyes on that one, on the flowers. And the same with the leaves. So I actually cheated. Instead of just dunking the whole egg in the dye bath, I actually used a paintbrush to help with it.
Nice. All right, Rob, show us another one.
This one. Rob, this is, I was trying to do a Fabergé egg and then also combine one of my favorite patterns.
Now this is in the gallery right now.
Okay. All right. So this one, if you look at the top or the bottom, depending on how you look at it, the arches, that was the initial response of mine to seeing a picture of a ceiling oven. I said, I wonder if that can be put onto an egg. That would be lovely. And that's what I did, was then do each tier of those.
Well, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Let's see the next one.
Okay. This is my collection of eggs that I have. The archival arts people take pictures of this handful. And this is a collection of the freehand, free flowing um, eggs, and then one with the on the right with those looking like but wavy triangles. That is actually a mosaic pattern on one of the wall of the Alhambra, and I put in details in it, and I used hookweed to try and dye it.
Well, they're beautiful. Let's see some more in the gallery.
Oh, look at that. The small one in the front is a quail egg. The one in the back with looks like a lot of slanting, that one is a Celtic key design that initially I saw it and I thought that would be lovely as a border. And I tried to set it up. And it was so orderly. I felt like I need to just open it up a bit so there's a band in the middle. And I love that color. It was turquoise on, I think it was a light tan egg. And it came out really beautifully.
It did. It did. All right, Rob, show us some more.
Oh, this is my freehand. Guess what? I learned this technique. This is one of the first ones after working with some kids. And they have wonderful, uninhibited way of doing artwork. And they just, I feel like putting a flower here. And then they go and do it. And they would say, oh, if I dye it not so heavily, I like it that way. That's good. And so this is my attempt of mimicking their process. And I have to say they're better. I'm happy with the way this comes out, but I have to say kids can teach you a lot of things.
Absolutely. And I have to tell you, that photo doesn't do that egg justice.
Oh, this is my fun egg. It was during, I think it was done New Year's time frame, and it's dark at night, but I wanted something like happy to show the celebration people have, throwing things around, blowing all kinds of things, and so that was my attempt at doing that. And I tried to use white dots and yellow dots, purple and red. So it may look very. Oh, these are the eggs I have. Two of them are coming to you, Robin.
Nice.
And partially because the other two, I'm not sure I like them as much.
I think they all look great. Wendy, bring me all those eggs.
Yeah, the three on the right have the same basic design. And I just wanted to try different ways of putting the dye on, the pattern on. So they came out differently. And the blue one is the one that I've been, it's not easy to do a single egg dye. So that was my effort to try that with that particular design pattern.
I see you bringing those 4 eggs in my future.
Ah, okay. That's soon. Okay, so that's that tray of eggs that's currently there at the Arts Gallery. That particular tray also survived the flood. If you see the dark band in the front, that was from the flood. That wasn't from the wood itself. And bless his heart, Jim Oliver helped me bleach it with strong peroxide solution and sanded it. It was, by the time he got done with it, it was prettier than when it first got started.
I agree. And for people that don't know, Jim Oliver is a very good wood turner artist also in the gallery.
And a really nice guy. And those eggs are that looks wonderful on that tray.
They do. He did a wonderful job. Well, I think it's time for us to see your second video, which has more to do with your inspiration. So, Rob, will you bring that up?
Yes. Okay. Yeah, people always ask me, well, where do you get your ideas from? And I have to say, I love Asher stuff. and the optical illusion. I look at a lot of art from other people's sculptures. This particular book is a book on nature, scenes that you can see in nature. So you can actually say, oh, whatever. And I collect stuff as I see them. It could be a book on Islamic mosaic design, like this one. Or the photo earlier you see was just all the stuff that I have collected over the year. It could be from a magazine. Oh, this one. This is my teenage. This is after the oil painting phase.
Oh, so you did that?
Sorry, that's look. That's your artwork.
Oh, that's something that you bought from the gallery?
Yes. So the all the work that I have are from basically different things that I see. Walk around and I would have a little notepad in my pocketbook, and I would say, oh, look at this, and I have to sketch it to make sure that I remember it. So actually, there's a lot more ideas in my head than I have eggs at this point.
Well, you have a long time to continue to create eggs. Well, Wendy, this is my last question for you because the lights just flickered in my gallery and I'm actually afraid we're going to lose power.
Yeah, okay.
What else would you like viewers to know? What would be the last thing you would say to them?
I think a lot of times people would ask, well, why do you pick something like that to do? Or how hard is it? And I would say, anytime you pick something, think it's difficult to try it. If you like it, give it time. And I think if anything, I would say, be curious. See what you can do with it, and when you try it, don't give it just one step and say, "Nah, that's not it." Give it a few weeks, a few months, and say, "Yeah, this is not quite it." But surround yourself with beautiful things. Keep looking.
I think that is wonderful. You know, there's been so many artists in the gallery in their video that just remind people not to give up. You know, you try it a few times and nobody is, there are very few savants in the world. So we all get better at trying it again and again.
Yeah. And I would suggest going to your arts gallery. I learned a lot from those artists. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking about, I should try this on my eggs. And so you never know. You may see me bringing in an egg and say, oh, look at that. That reminds me of so-and-so. And that's probably what it was, learning from somebody else and trying it. But the egg will be my medium for a while. I'm not likely going to switch to watercolor paper or oil painting anytime real soon. So,
well, Wendy, you're very good at it, and I feel honored to have you in the gallery. So thank you so much for being with us tonight.
You're welcome, and love you.
Ditto. Well, now it's a point in our show where we highlight a business in Ellicott City. So I'd like to tell you about a business called The Clayground. It was originally founded by Charlene Randolph, who is an artist in the gallery here. And after the flood, she made a life decision where she was just going to go off and create art herself. But she sold her store to some wonderful people, Michael and Matthew, or we call him Matt, Koplow, Koplow. And so they're going to tell you about their business. So Rob, will you bring that up?
Hi, my name is Michael Koplow, and I'm the owner of The Clayground. The Clayground is a gallery and studio located in Old Town Ellicott City. As a part of the gallery, what we have is about 40 different artists. All of them are local. We are known from the artist standpoint as being more functional art, that being pots, mugs, bowls, some fine crafts, jewelry, things of that nature, things that are typically used around the house or that you would use on a daily basis. But in addition, what we're really known for are the classes that we put on. We put on classes in glass fusion, mosaics, and two kinds of pottery wheel and hand building. Upstairs we have a gallery a studio that has 12 pottery wheels, You'll come in, we'll put 1.5 pounds of clay in front of you, you'll have a fabulous experience. All of our classes are BYOB. I kind of like saying that we don't sell glass, we don't sell clay, we don't sell pots, we don't sell mugs, we sell a perfect experience. And with that experience, you can kind of get it in any number of different ways. The easiest way to find us is on Facebook or on our website. Our website is claygroundonline.com, and through that you can sign up for our classes. If you have any issues that way or just want to talk to us instead of using technology, we've got the phone, and we'd be more than happy to see you in here and give you a fabulous time. Thank you.
So both Michael and Matthew are just wonderful people. And the whole climate in the store, it just makes you feel good being there. You learn things, and they have just some beautiful art there. So I hope that you will come and visit them. So let me tell you what's going to happen next week. We're going to be with artist, and she's really a painter, Andrea Sawyer. So she is an art teacher, but what her medium is, at least in the gallery, it's watercolor, acrylic, and more recently, she's branched off into mixed media. She's very talented and just a very dear person. So she will do episode 15. In closing, I'd like you to know it's a real pleasure to be with you every week. And I hope that you will continue with your art endeavors. And if you just appreciate art, we like you too. And so I hope you have a wonderful week, and I'll see you next time. Thank you, Wendy. Thank you, Rob. Bye.
Thank you both.